Have you ever been handed a project at work that just felt like a massive mountain to climb? Well, that's exactly where we meet Jody today. She's a level 4 market research apprentice at IVA Stores, and she's about to get an assignment that's really going to push her skills to the next level. We're going to follow her every step of the way on this journey.
And there it is. Her manager, Riddle, just laid down the challenge. See, they had this mountain of data, but data by itself is just, well, it's just noise, right? The key to unlocking the real story inside? It's a powerful piece of software called SPSS. For Jody, this is a huge moment. It's her chance to turn all those numbers into a real, actionable strategy.
Okay, so facing a complex tool like SPSS for the very first time can feel pretty overwhelming. I think it's a feeling almost every apprentice knows well. But here's the good news. Jody isn't going on this quest alone. Her mentor, Adam, is right there with her, ready to help her navigate the journey and turn this challenge into a total triumph.
So what is this skill really? In her apprenticeship, it's officially called Skill S8, which is just a fancy way of saying using data analysis software to find audience insights. Adam's first job is to break down exactly what that actually means in plain English.
You know, at its heart, Skill S8 is really all about using technology to turn a pile of raw data into a clear story about your audience. It's not just about crunching numbers for the sake of it. It's about using software to find those reliable, meaningful insights that a business can actually act on with some real confidence.
So why does this skill matter so much? Well, first off, it helps protect against simple human error and our own unconscious biases. That's huge. Second, it lets you handle massive datasets that would be literally impossible to sort through by hand. All of this builds credibility for your research and ultimately helps you and your company make smart business decisions based on solid evidence, not just guesswork.
Adam's a smart mentor. He knows the best way to tackle a big, intimidating skill is to break it into smaller pieces. So he gives Jody a super clear, manageable roadmap to follow, a 6-step journey that's going to take her from being a total novice to a confident analyst. It makes the whole thing feel so much more achievable.
Step 1 is interesting. It actually begins before she even opens the software. First, Jody needs to understand its purpose. Why are we using this tool for this job? How does it fit into the bigger picture of the research project? It's all about having a clear strategy before you even start clicking buttons.
All right, step 2 is all about data prep. You've probably heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out, right? Well, this is where Jody makes sure her data is clean and properly structured. That means getting it into the system correctly and applying consistent codes. Making sure male and female are categorized the exact same way every single time, so the results you get are totally reliable.
Now we get to the analysis itself. In step 3, Jody starts using some of the core functions. Things like frequencies, which is just a simple count of how often something appears, and cross-tabulations, which lets her compare two different things like, say, age and buying habits. The most important part, every single action she takes is tied directly back to her original research goal.
Step 4 is where the real magic happens. See, the software spits out all these tables and charts that tells you the what, but a great analyst, they find the why. Jody is learning to look at a statistical output and see the human story that's hidden inside the numbers, turning boring data points into genuine aha insight. Okay, this point is absolutely crucial: quality control. A great analyst has to be a bit of a detective, so Jody learns to rigorously check her work for any errors, compare her findings against what she expected to see, and be totally honest about any limitations in the data. This is what ensures the final insight is strong and defensible. And finally, step 6, delivery. All these amazing insights are pretty useless if they just stay locked away in a spreadsheet. Jody practices exporting her findings into charts and reports and then explaining them in a way that her team at IBIS Stores can actually understand and, most importantly, act on. Jody has come such a long way. But for any apprentice, there's one final hurdle: the endpoint assessment, or EPA. This is the big test that proves she has truly mastered the skills of her job. To get her ready, her coach, Olivia, steps into the picture. Olivia gives Jody this incredibly useful checklist. Think of it as a game plan. On the left, you see the types of evidence she needs for her portfolio, things like screenshots and her own analysis notes. And on the right, you see exactly what the assessors are looking for: accuracy, clear interpretation, and proof of that super important validation step.
To get it ready, Olivia starts role-playing the assessment, asking the kinds of tough questions a real assessor would. This question here, it isn't just about what Jody found.
It's about how she can be so sure her findings are correct. It's a test of her entire process, from start to finish.
And Jody's response? It's perfect. Seriously, notice how it shows her full thought process. Checked for inconsistencies, shows she's diligent. Compared against objectives, shows she's thinking strategically. And avoid overclaiming, that shows real professional integrity. This is an absolutely model answer for any apprentice.
So, if you're an apprentice getting ready for your own EPA, these are your 4 golden rules. Assessors want to see that you can use the software confidently, that your analysis is accurate, that you can pull real insights out of the data, and that you can explain it all clearly. Nail these and you are well on your way to success.
And the result of all her hard work? Check this out. Jody's final report to her manager, Riddle, came with a 95% confidence level in its recommendations. This is what it's all about, turning a daunting task into a reliable, high-value outcome for your employer. That's a massive win for Jody and for IBIS stores.
So, Jody started out with a challenge, and with the right guidance, she turned it into a core strength. We've just followed her whole journey from feeling uncertain to total mastery. So now, the only question left to ask is, what's the first step on your quest?